So we learned how to create one web application and using React inside that application. But we have another technique which we are going to learn today. Another technique is you can create a separate React application. So a separate React application where you can build the user interface and you can connect with any backend. Any backend means Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Node.js. Any backend technology can be connected with that because can we build apps with React? We cannot build apps with React. React is only for building UI. So you can build a complete UI with React app and you can connect that with any backend. Any backend can use. So how to create a separate React app? In that again two techniques are there. If you want to build an app of React, you can build by using frameworks. Already I told you. A complete full stack application means we have to use frameworks. Full stack application we will see later. Because full stack application you should have knowledge of front end and back end. Later we will learn how to build a full stack application after learning concepts of React. So today what we are going to see how to build a simple React application without any framework. After that we will add frameworks. Like I told you, Next.js, Remix, so Expo, different frameworks are there, we will use them. Because to use frameworks, first you should have idea of framework, then you can use framework. So we are going to learn how to build a React single page application. In the front end, how you can build a React single page application. So here we have two important options. So React application. I will give the point about this React application. All these days, we are not creating a React application. We are using React in an existing web application. So here two points are there. You can create React application without any framework. So if you want to do that, so there is one technique. So it requires any bundling tool like we have Webpack, Parcel, White. So these are bundling tools. So you can create production grade React application using any framework like we have Next.js, we have Remix, Gatsby. So we have like Expo. These are production grade frameworks we can use. So there are two techniques. Today we are going to see how to build a React application without framework. So creating a React application without framework. First we will see that. Because to use framework, first you have to learn framework, that you will do later. So, and the framework is not a part of React. You have to separately learn about frameworks. So how do you create a React application? And actually, in order to build a web application and work with web application, we need some bundling tools. So to create projects, to maintain the projects, we have bundling tools like Webpack, Parcel, White. These are bundling tools. Actually, you see, so Webpack is one bundling tool. So this is Webpack. Webpack is a very popular bundling tool. Already I told you, suppose you are building an application in that you have 10 pages, and in every page you want to use some CSS or JavaScript. Then usually what you do, you link to every page. Instead of linking, we can configure in such a way that page is not linked with any file, but page is using all the files like JavaScript, CSS, TypeScript, and all such. So that is possible by using configuration tools. In companies, when they build an app, they build by using various bundling tools. Webpack, we have like Parcel. This is also a bundling tool. We have like White, that is one bundling tool. If you are using Node.js, already you install Node.js. If you are using Node.js by default can use a bundling tool called Webpack. So Parcel, White, and other bundling tools, you have to manually install them. If you have Node.js in your PC, because already you install Node.js, then by default Webpack is enabled, right? So what you have to do is here, we will create a React application without framework, and this is using Webpack. By using Webpack bundler, we will do that. For that, what you have to do is, first point, because recently they changed the approach, few important concepts you have to do. First, what you have to do, already you installed Node.js, na? On your PC, you installed Node.js. After installing Node.js, go to any physical location on your PC using command prompt. That means any location, any drive, any location you need to do. Actually, recently they made some changes and people are getting some errors while creating the applications. So to manage that, one process I will tell you, you have to follow that. This is the command you need to run. You run one command here. So open the command prompt and run this command, npm config set legacy peer dependencies true. This is nothing but allowing Node Package Manager to build an old version application. Legacy peer dependency, legacy means old version. What is the new version? 19. And in 19, what they recommend to use? To use any framework, right? Without framework, if you have to build, then you need to set up to the old version. Because in previous example, we saw how to install 18, right? We will see both 18 as well as 19. Now, to enable our computer to run old version also, you need to run this command. So earlier we don't need that. Recently this is required. Recently, because the latest React version, they have introduced new features with new library, and in that they have to modify the library. So we have to change this setting first. This is nothing but configure your computer to use old version dependencies. Legacy means old version dependencies. We have to set it to what? True. After that, create a new app application using the command. You have to use the command npx create react app. Npx create react app, and your app name, any name you can give. And while giving app names, avoid special characters, spaces. Use a simple hyphen if you want to separate some words, but avoid using spaces and all those. So this is nothing but it will create a React application for you. It will create a React application for you. So create React app and your app name you have to define. So let's open any PC location. Suppose I open my command prompt. I change it to some drive location. Here already I have some project. And here I am creating a application npx create react app and the app name. So I will give app name as demo react app. You can give any name you want. I just give a demo react app. Okay, now when you hit enter, it is going to set up everything for you. It is going to create a folder. In that folder, it is installing everything. You can see it is installing React. It is installing React DOM. It will install all the React supportive scripts and CRA with the CRA template. CRA template means create React application template. And by default, which bundler it is going to use? Webpack. By default, it uses Webpack. You can create a React application without Webpack using any another bundler, but you have to separately install that and you use it. So it will take some time to create a complete application for you. It will take some time. So it is going to create a React application for you. After creating that, how the application looks like, what it contains, the infrastructure we will see, right? And remember, as I told you, we are learning multiple versions in this class. That means first we are going to see 18, then we are going to see 19. So both versions we are going to learn, because 19 is only few weeks old. That means very few weeks old means companies still don't implement them. They will work with the 18. So we have to learn both points. We will see that. So earlier, because you people, when you watch some YouTube videos and all this, you will find old videos showing you how to create React applications. They usually fail now. That means check whether those videos that you are watching, they are uploaded recent. That means they are not older than 1 month. If they are older than 1 month and you follow them, there will be several failures in your creating projects. So don't attempt that. Just see what I showed in class. You just follow. That is enough. Because sometimes you get any error, you people start exploring that on YouTube, Google, and they will confuse you in all the ways. So better just follow these two steps. You already installed Node.js. First step, what you do is set your Node.js suitable for old version. How do you do that? By running this command. After that, create a React application. That's important. Once the React application is created, how this React application works? What is this infrastructure? Now what you can do, you can open the folder. Here example I given like this. What is it? npx create React app, and it is some demo React app. That's the name I given. So we just given a demo React app. Now you can see it will take some time to set up everything for you, and you can see everything successfully created. And you can see it will say success in creating, and it has given some commands. We will see how to use them. First, once your application is created successfully, now let's see the file system. That means the app is created successfully. Now open project folder in VS Code, Visual Studio Code. What is your project folder name? So it is will be in D drive, demo, React app. That is the project folder name. Because the application name you given, project name will be created by that name. Now, when you open this, you will find your project is built already with a lot of file system. Infrastructure is ready. You see, let's open Visual Studio Code and open the folder. We will open the folder. It is in D drive demo React app. And when I select the folder, you see already everything is set up. You see already everything is set up. And if you remember, this is what we designed manually. Na? Remember, na? All these we designed manually. Now it is constructed for you. So, and I don't need to explain what these are. You already aware of this. What is node modules? It comprises of all the library files installed for your project. JavaScript, CSS, all library files are kept in this node modules. Public, all static resources are kept here. Static means HTML pages, images, documents, all are kept here. SRC, dynamic resources. Dynamic resources all like JavaScript, TypeScript, or CSS, SCSS, all are kept in SRC. Git ignore, I told you, when you are publishing with Git, which I will show you how to connect with Git, and what files to ignore, folders to ignore, that you can configure using Git ignore. Package log.json, package JSON are generated to have the metadata and project configuration. Metadata already I explained. So README is a help document. As I told you, it is a document designed by developers for developers. So this all we already created. In last session, we manually designed it. Now it is everything created for you. So what is the basic infrastructure? That means project file system. File system comprises of following files and folders. So we have node modules. So it contains all library files installed using npm. npm is node package manager. We have public. It contains static resources, HTML, images, docs, etc. Next, we have SRC. So it contains dynamic resources, JS, JSX, like we have JS, JSX, TS, CSS, etc. Next, we are having git ignore. So it configures configures folder system, folder and file to ignore for git. Another one is package.json. It comprises of project metadata. Package.lock.json. This it comprises of dependencies metadata. Dependencies metadata means what dependencies you have installed. Means you installed last session we learned Bootstrap and all those. What dependencies you installed, those dependencies related metadata. Means which license they are using, which version it is installed. About every dependency metadata will be in this. And we have readme .md. It comprises of you can say it is a help document for developers. So it contains information about how to run the project, how to compile everything. So this is a project related file system. Now, recently, from past few weeks, one more extra installation we have to do. Earlier, we don't need that. Directly, we can run the project. We need one more extra installation. So what is that? I will show you. These are the basic files and folders created. How this flow works, I will explain. How your project starts, where which one is present, right? So once you know the file system, and this is no need any explanation because already we learned in previous class, we designed that manually, we created all this. Now see, recently they have one more change done. Actually, to run the project, we have to use npm start. npm start is used to run the project, but recently they have given one new library support which we have to add. This is not required earlier. So we have to use AJV. So after creating this project, you have to install a library called AJV. That is nothing but it is it is an application JavaScript validation. That means React uses an JavaScript validation. So that validation library earlier they used to have, in 19 they have ignored it. They asked us to install it manually. Earlier they used to install along with creating application. Now they made it as choice, optional. But without this validation related several concepts will not work. So you have to set up the validation. So you have to install a library called AJV. So after that, what you do is open terminal. You know the terminal, right? Open terminal in your project and install JavaScript validation module. JavaScript validation module. So you have to run the command npm install AJV. You have to run this command AJV. Earlier, it is not required. Earlier, it is not required. These all are required from past few weeks only. Just 2-3 weeks back, they made so many changes in this library, and you need to set up all this. Because usually what happens is when any software releases its new version, generally what we expect from new version, some new additions into the software. Am I right? But these people are rebuilding everything. That means not making just few changes, they are reconstructing the libraries. Due to that, what happens is complete library is reconstructed means the way how we approach to design application also some changes will be there. So if only 1-2 new things they added, that's nothing but you update to new version and simply use those new. But if they change the library itself, then what is problem is we have to learn a new approach also. In any new version, you need to just know about the new updates. But in some softwares, they reconstruct everything. When they reconstruct everything, then problem. We need to follow some new approaches also. And that we have to get from their official website. They will tell that for our new library, this is the new approach you have to follow. And this you should follow. So you install AJV. Okay. You install npm install. What is it? AJV. And sometimes what happens is when you install library, after that you close your project and restart your computer and open it again. These libraries may reset because package.json what it does is at the time of creating project, what libraries are there, it will keep them. Other libraries that you later added, it may reset them, it may remove them. So to avoid that, always use the flag called save. Always use the flag save so that even after various restarts or installing other libraries, it will not affect this library, right? Always when you install a library, better use the flag. What is the flag? Save. Hyphen save. It is not required, but sometimes some libraries will reset node modules. When they reset node modules, your manually added plugins will be removed. That's the reason, make sure that you save this. So, and install, it is installing our application. Once it is installing this validation library installed successfully, now start your project. How to start the project? So start project using the command npm start. You just run this command npm start. Now what it is going to do is, so your project starts on local server at 3000 port number. That is the default port number. If we want, we can change the port numbers, which you will learn in project settings later. We can set our own port numbers and all. By default, React application runs on this port number. That means what you have to do, open any browser. You open any browser. Actually, it will load the browser automatically. But if accidentally you close the browser, you open any browser and request http://127.0.0.1 and 3000 is the port number. Or you know that this IP address belongs to your local servers now. All computer local server IP is same. Or you can use, instead of IP address, you can use this also. What is it? Local host and 3000. You can use local host and 3000. Your React application is running on this port number. Multiple applications when we are running, every application have a different port number. In one port, one application, another port, another application. And these port numbers are default set for your project. If you want, you can change them. So later you learn project configurations, then you will understand how do we set your number. Here, once you run this, you see now, here we have to run the command. What is it? npm start. Now it is going to compile your project and run the application. And it is starting the server and it is launching your page. And you can see by default, it is on localhost 3000 port number. And this is your React app. That means this is the welcome screen of your React application. How this is coming, from where this is coming, what is the basic flow? We need to understand. Because I don't want this screen, I want my own. That means we want our own message, we want our own screen. So how it is working? What is the basic flow? Where to modify everything, we will see that. That means how this screen is coming. What is the basic flow of a React application? Let's see how a React application works. So we are going to understand, you see, which ones are compiled successfully? Webpack. And your application is running on this port number. That is the port number. This is for network. Networking means if you are connected on network, two computers connected on a local area network, another computer also allows, from another computer also you can access this app. That means instead of watching on your PC, you can watch from another PC if you are connected on a network. Otherwise, you can publish on cloud and from there you can access and use anywhere. Those all cloud production later, not now. Initially, you can just open localhost and 3000. And you see now the question is how this screen is coming, from where this is coming. What is the basic flow? Let's see the basic flow. So React application flow. This is high level design. In software technologies, we will have high level design, low level design. Generally, for every project, for every purpose, we have high level, low level designs. High level design is nothing but, for example, suppose we have a concept like you are in Hyderabad, Amirpet, and you need to go to some Hyderabad Banjara Hills. There one bookstore is present. From there you need to purchase a book and come. High level design is nothing but, high level design says that go to Banjara Hills bookstore, buy the book and come. Low level design says that go to Amirpet bus stop, check for the bus number so and so, board on the bus, get on at Banjara Hills, there go to this store, in this store search for this particular book, buy the book, and again board on the bus, come back to your destination again. That is the low level design. Understood? Huh? So high level design is just say that go buy book and come. And low level design, how you do that, the process. Currently, I am explaining high level design. Low level design means internally what will happen later. High level design means the outline flow first. Once you understood outline flow, then later you can understand the inside flow, right? How your React application works, high level design. Let's see. Actually, how the React application works, the process. Remember, now actually you are creating React 19 application only, but without framework. Understood? So we are creating React 19. How you know that is it React 19 or 18? You can go to which location? Package JSON. In package JSON, you can see the React and React DOM are 19. That is the current version of React, the latest version of React. So React 19 and React 18, both you can try here. If you want to try 18, just change this version to 18.2. But not required because in 19, 18 features also will work. So here itself we learn both concepts, 18 as well as 19, right? Now let's see how the process works. That means how the entire concept is going to work. How this screen is coming? How this screen is coming? Let's see. Actually, from your computer, you are requesting. So from your computer, you are requesting from the browser this path you are requesting. What is it? HTTP colon localhost and 3000. This is what you requested, right? When you requested this, some screen is coming to you. How this screen is coming is actually in your project, you have a file called in a public folder. In public folder, you have a file called index.html. Because you know that every project starts with index.html. You know index.html is the startup page. We created that earlier, right? Now, what happens is this index.html is requested when you click. That means from the browser, when you request, the first result that you are watching on screen is coming from index.html. But index.html don't have this design that you are watching. That means you see this design is not in index.html. Actually, index.html is having a simple div with an ID called root. We created this, right? Right, index.html is having a simple div with an ID root. Let's observe carefully. We will go to which folder? Public. In public folder, we have only one HTML page, index.html, and see the index.html page. In head section, some details are there, and you see link. There is no CSS. They are linking some JSON that is related to some metadata. No need to worry about that. And you see in the body, we have no script. I told you already. In the previous class, we created this manually. And there is a div with ID as root. And there is nothing else. In the body, there is only a div with an ID called root. then how come this entire screen is coming? A simple div. And observe carefully, here no files are linked. Script files, CSS files, they are not linked. Then without linking any file, how those files are working? Actually, those files are present in separate folders, and a Webpack is a bundler. That Webpack bundler is connecting them. That means without linking a file, you can use a file. And that is possible through configuration using bundling tools. In many interviews, they ask this question to fresher. They will show index page to you, and they will say that here no file is linked. Then how this entire CSS and how this JavaScript is working here? Then what should be your answer? So that is because of bundling tools. What the bundling tools do, they put the mapping. They set the configuration in such a way that without linking the files, we can use the files. Manually, how do we do that? You will see later. Once you finish all the concepts, project configuration, you will see later. Initially, you will see there are no files and just index is there. Now, how this screen is coming then? You know that also. Actually, this index.html gets the logic from another file. Actually, we have a file called in src folder. In src folder, we have index.js. In src folder, we have index.js. In src folder, we have this file. And this file is actually connected to this one. That means that file is connected to this. The file is connected to this. That means index.html is getting the logic from which page? Index.js. Index.js. It is coming from index.js. But in index.js also, the design is not present. Actually, where the design is present is how index.js works, I will tell you. In src folder itself, in src folder, there is app.js. App.js is present in src. Actually, this app.js is nothing but it is a component file. Understood? Already we learned component. Na? Already we learned component. Actually, this is the component file. And how a component is designed? Already we learned. We have what? Function. Function name is what? App. Some app. And what it is doing? Return. It is returning some markup. Am I right? Yeah. So this is the component it is having. And I told you function can be written in two ways. Function declaration or function expression. They can write in any way. Actually, in their app, they have written in function declaration, expression. So you can observe here, after writing the function, we can export the function. Remember, from any JavaScript file you want to export any function, you need to mark it as export. You have to mark that as export. Now, observe here, the design is present in this file. Already you saw our React application previously when we created. Our entire design will be in index component. You tried Netflix, huh? Able to do that? Hierarchy, design, everyone tried? Huh? Good. So because that is the flow we need to follow. And you saw there, application starts with which component? Index. Here it starts with which component? App. If you want, you can change. You can create your own component. You can make that component start. So observe carefully now. Let's go to src folder. In that, go to app.js. We go to app.js. In app.js, you see there is a function. And what is the function? App. And it is returning some markup. Some CSS also is there. By default, it is using some CSS. How to use CSS and all, I will tell you. We will do one thing. Delete all this. Even header also I am deleting. And remember, because it is present in a separate file, to use in another file, you have to export. Already you know JavaScript module systems, import and export. Now, in this we will design a heading. So welcome to React 19, some we design. And whatever modification we done, you can see that that modification reflects here. Understood? That means actually what happening now here, you created app component. Now how this app component is rendered, because you remembered we designed a script. In that script type is text Babel. In that script we used one function. What is it? React DOM.render. How to create virtual DOM? To create virtual DOM, we learned React DOM.render method. What that render method is going to do? So it will create a virtual DOM and render the virtual DOM into the actual DOM. In 18 and 19, they changed this little bit. Earlier, we have to directly use a method called React DOM.render. Now in 18 and 19, they changed. What they changed is, in 18 and 19, small changes they have done. What you have to do is, in index.js, we will first, in index.js, we will first create a constant. We first create a root. They given a library called, a method called create root. It is present in React library create root. This create root will collect the root present inside this index.html. How to access that root? Document.get element by ID. What is it? Root. And after that, into that root, they have a method called render. Into the root, we are rendering the virtual DOM. And which component to render? Component name. What is the component name? App. App component is rendered. This is the small change they have done. Earlier in React, this is the latest. In old version, how they have to do? You know, in old version, how they have to do? In old version, they have to directly use one command. What is it? React DOM. Yeah, React DOM dot render. Render which one? App. And where to render? Document dot get element by ID. So, and ID is what? Root. They used to do this. Am I right? So this is the old syntax and this is the new syntax. So this is the new syntax. And this is the old syntax. Right? And you have to first create a root. After that, creating the root, you have to use it. And one more they do in this is directly, though they don't render app. While rendering app, they use another concept called, that is nothing but, you know, they use another concept called React strict they use. React strict they use. In that React strict, they render the app component. React strict they use. What is strict? You already learned in JavaScript. JavaScript can be turned on to strict mode. Na? Remember? Na? You know this? Na? JavaScript with strict mode, without strict mode. What is strict mode of JavaScript? How to turn on the strict mode? To turn on the strict mode, we have to use the command. What is it? Use strict. And why we need to turn on use strict in the JavaScript? Because in JavaScript, developers are allowed to write several logics without following standards. And if without following standards, if anybody write the code and it is working, later it will lead to lot of inconsistency. To avoid that, we ask and force the developers write JavaScript in strict mode. And for that, JavaScript people have to turn on strict mode by using use strict. Similarly, in React also, React application uses a strict mode so that developers cannot write by using their own techniques. Developers have to follow certain standards. That is important. So JavaScript strict mode, same like that React strict mode. Let's observe all this now. And actually this is the old one. Right? This is the old technique and this is the new technique. So this is, I will give here, this is from 18x and higher. And this is up to, so up to 17, this 18 and 19 versions, they use the above technique and old version use this technique. And observe now, let's go to your component is ready. And let's go to index.js now. In SRC, there is index.js. Go to index.js. Other files you will learn level by level. Later you will learn level by level. You see now in index, they are creating a root. This root is using which method? Create root. It is accessing get element by ID root. And into the root, you are using which method? Render. It is using a strict mode of React and it is rendering this app. And that app is already imported here. We are importing that app and using it because it is designed in a separate script file. Now we will learn how to create our own component and how to render our own component. You can do easily. Let's create our own component and render our own component. Actually, we can start with whatever they given. Usually what people do, they design components and keep other components inside app. Can do, you can start with your own component. You can create your own component. Let's create one component. So let's create a component. So I hope you understood the basic flow, but actually this is not the original complete internal flow. This is just outline. That's the reason I told you this is a high level design. Low level design you will see later. So when you request a React application in browser, the first screen that you are watching is what? Index.html. That index.html is getting the logic from index.js. In index.js, we create virtual DOM and render virtual DOM into actual DOM. For that, what is the new method we have? Create root. Create root is the new method. And virtual DOM is rendering a component by default. Which component it is rendering? App. You can create your own components and render. So here one new point you need to know. So this is the application flow. First point, React application starts with index.html defined in public folder. The diagram I will upload to you into the drive link later. So it starts with index.html. So this contains an ID called root. Next, the logic for index page is defined in index.js in src index.js. Index.js. So actually it creates virtual DOM and renders into actual DOM. So version 18 and 19. In that, how it is going to do? Root here React DOM dot create root. So document dot get element by ID, that is root. That is, and root dot render. Render which component app. That's what it is going to do. Version up to 17, they do like this. React DOM dot render. App component get element by ID and root. That's how it is going to do. So the new versions are first creating the root and then rendering the virtual DOM into that root. Earlier we used to do that in one method directly. Now we have a separate create root method. And if anyone asks, what is this React strict mode? What is React strict mode? So strict mode is used in JavaScript applications to avoid code inconsistency. Code inconsistency. And generally, in JavaScript to avoid code inconsistency, we use strict mode. We use strict. So it is not mandatory. Later you will see in so many occasions we can remove it and run it. But always it is good to keep this. Actually in JavaScript, already consistency is, what is consistency already we know. I will show here one simple concept because you already learned this in JavaScript, but I will show you one small, just for your understanding sake, I will show here. Suppose there is a HTML page, x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to plus x. Is this valid? X is a variable. It is never declared and you are directly using it. Is it valid? Actually, it is not good like this. But in JavaScript, it is valid. In JavaScript, it is valid. Actually, it is not good. It is not good to use a variable without declaring, but in JavaScript, it will allow. You see now, what it happens is it allows. It is working fine. There is no issue. You see in the console, you will see there is no issue. So, but this is not good because you people learn JavaScript from different places. So different sources, you have different ideas. You put your idea, another person put his idea. Everybody writes with his own ideas, then lot of confusion. Because in one project, several people are working and everybody has his own technique, then it is a mess up in project. In project, we don't want like that. So what we do, we force all our developers to write in the same format. For that, we use some tools. Later, you will learn about them. So for example, do you know, suppose I want to write a string. I can write John. I can write in single quote John. I can write in backtick also John. Am I right? Now one person writes in double quote, another person writes in single quote. This lot of mess up. Then what we can do, we can force all developers to write only in double quote. If they write in single quote, it shows warning saying that in this project, strings are configured to write in double quote. We can put the warning so that all people will follow the same standard. And here in JavaScript, I don't want to allow this type of declaration. Then we will turn on strict mode. How do we do? Use strict. If you write use strict at the top, now JavaScript not allows this to happen. It says that X is not defined. Now you have to declare a variable and then you have to use the variable. Now it is fine. That means JavaScript based technologies, one problem is they are not inbuilt strict. You have to manually make them as strict. In many React and JavaScript interviews, they ask this question like, what is difference between strict and strong? JavaScript strictly typed, strongly typed. They will ask difference between strict and strong. What is strong means? JavaScript is not strongly typed. JavaScript is not implicitly strictly typed. What is strong? Strongly typed is about data type. Data type means you say X equal to 10. That means X is what type? Number. Into X later I put A. Is it valid? It is valid. It will change to what? String. That means this language is not a strongly typed language. Strongly typed language means what? They say that X is 10. That means they say that X is what type? Integer. So you have to store only integer. Am I right? In JavaScript, we don't have that. That's the reason JavaScript is not strongly typed. Strongly typed is about data type. Strictly typed is about rules. Understood? If anyone asks in interviews, because these days very popular this, they ask what is strongly typed, what is strictly typed. That is a very basic thing of JavaScript. Java strongly typed is about data types and strictly typed is about the rules. So JavaScript based technologies, they set the rules. So that rules are defined here. Later you will learn what are those rules and how to follow them. That's the reason, if you remembered, I told you function name must start with uppercase, right? If generally in JavaScript, function name can start with lowercase also. But here they have strict rules. Another point is, usually a JavaScript file can be kept anywhere. But here the strict rule is it must be kept in only SRC folder. If you put anywhere else, it is not going to use it. Usually you can put a photo in any folder, but here it is strictly meant only in public. You cannot keep anywhere. You cannot create your own folder and put there. Those files are not accessible. That means it has some strict rules to follow. We have to follow the rules. Okay, let's create our own component and try. You can try this. That means let's create our own component. How to create our own component? How to create our own component? Let's see. To create our own component first point. So adding a new component into project. we will see how to add a new component into project. So first point, what you have to do is add a new file into src folder, with the extension .jsx or .js. You can use anything, but actually, so already I told you, React uses not JavaScript directly. It uses what? JavaScript extension. But no problem. Even you write code in .js also, it can recognize, because JSX is just extension of JavaScript. But in majority projects now these days, we don't use JS directly. We use what? JSX. But you saw in app component is JS only, na? They given JS, but you can put anything. But in modern projects, you will see all JSX files very much. So because we use JS for other libraries, so we don't want developers to confuse. Always components better to keep in JSX. So you add a new file. Suppose temporarily we will add a file login.jsx in login.jsx. Now we will add a new file. Go to src folder and add a new file login.jsx. Okay. In that we need to how to design a component. We know that function name is what? Login, and what it should do? Return some div, and I put some heading. It should return only one fragment now. In that you can have anything. So suppose user login, and we have a data list, data term, username, and data definition. We have input type is text. All the rules are same. It should be all self-ending now, right? So we have another one like password. So password, and here we have another option like password. Okay, now we put a button here and login. Okay, now we want this component to start. But you know that in a JavaScript file, if you write any function, it is not accessible outside. Then we have to mark it as what? Export. You have to mark it as export. That is general module system of JavaScript. Now, after creating this file, go to index. In index, we have to import that file. So import which function? Function is what? Login. And from login, it will import. That means login is your module name. Module name means file name is used as module name. You already know JavaScript module system, OOP concept. Huh? Now, application should render which component? Not app component. It should render which one? Login. And you see that it will start with login. It is going to start with login. Styling and all we can do later. Bootstrap, style, CSS we can do later. But earlier we were doing all this in one file. Now we have separate files. That means your script is in index.js, your component is in app.js, or any own component you can create and you can render it. This is the process how you design the component. And actually only one component we start, in that we put everything, just like Netflix. Netflix is having several components: Netflix index, Netflix header, Netflix main, Netflix register, but it is starting with only one. You can put one component, everything inside that component. That is the reason here you will not have several pages, you will have only one page. Everything comes onto that page. So that is the reason it is called single page application, SPA. SPA is referring to single page application. So here you have to design login.jsx. In that roughly I will copy this code. Okay, after that what you have to do, go to which file? Index.js, and you have to import which one? Login. From where? So /login. You have to import from login. After that, we have to use render method. Already there is written. I just give the syntax. Okay. In the render method, you have to change that from app to what? Log. Understood? This is the process you need to follow. Now we will learn complete React in this place. That means components, component related logics, everything we will learn here. So all these days, previously we used React in an existing web application, but now we are creating a separate React application. Now in this React application, we will learn the complete React. Now we will see here, same Netflix like design we can create here. We will use others. We will try other designs here. How to create an application using this. So we are going to learn all the React concepts inside this application. So first we are going to understand about data binding and state in our React application. This is the major concept of React that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that, right? Up today, you have to do all this process. Create one React application, add a component, set up in the startup, check whether it is running fine or not. Then tomorrow we will start working with data binding, how data binding works and how the state works in React. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay. All people have the drive link, huh? Right? You join into the drive link, not WhatsApp community. So the Google Drive link is there. For offline people, you have the Drive link already available in QR code. You can scan it, notice. And there I will upload these notes. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue then, right? Yeah.